A minor sells illegal drugs. The penalty under Republic Act number 9165 is life imprisonment to death. But because the offender is a minor, the penalty gets converted into a Spanish penalty and reduced by 1 degree. How is that even possible under a special law? The answer is Section 98. In Part 5, we learned about the Spanish and American penal systems and the Simon Principle, that the penalties nomenclature determines which system applies. Now we're tackling a critical follow-up question. When exactly do the provisions of the Revised Penal Code apply to crimes punishable under special laws? This is Article 10 of the RPC, the Suppletory Application Rule. And it has a major exception that every criminal law student must know, the Dangerous Drugs Law. Under Article 10 of the Revised Penal Code, the code's provisions apply suppletorily to special laws. This means, when a special law is silent on a particular matter, the RPC fills the gap. The Supreme Court has applied this in several ways. Subsidiary penalty under Article 39, duration of reclusion perpetua under Article 27, the threefold rule under Article 70, and confiscation of instruments under Article 45. But here's the critical exception. Under Section 98 of Republic Act number 9165, the provisions of the Revised Penal Code shall not apply to the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act, except when the offender is a minor. This is a blanket prohibition. Hindi pwedeng gamitin ang RPC provisions para sa adult drug offenders. So what happens when the offender is a minor? The RPC provisions kick in, and this creates a fascinating penalty conversion process. Take the crime of sale of dangerous drugs. The penalty under Republic Act 9165 is life imprisonment to death, an American penalty. But if the accused is a minor, Section 98 mandates the application of the RPC. To apply the RPC's penalty rules, the American penalty must first be converted into a Spanish penalty. Life imprisonment to death becomes reclusion perpetua to death. Then, taking into consideration the privileged mitigating circumstance of minority, the penalty is reduced by 1 degree, down to reclusion temporal. This was the ruling in People v. Montalaba in 2011 and People v. Musa in 2012. Both bar exam favorites. But there's an important limitation. Not all American penalties under Republic Act 9165 can be converted into Spanish penalties. Consider possession of dangerous drugs involving shabu of 5 grams. The penalty is imprisonment of 20 years and 1 day to life imprisonment. Can this be converted to a Spanish penalty? No. There is no equivalent Spanish penalty for this range. And if the penalty cannot be converted, the privileged mitigating circumstance of minority cannot be applied, because the Spanish penal system's graduation mechanism won't work. The same is true for use of dangerous drugs by a first-time offender. The penalty is rehabilitation. Even if the offender is a minor, you can't reduce rehabilitation by 1 degree. It's not a Spanish penalty, it can't be graduated. This was tested in the 2018 bar exam. So remember the rule. Section 98 opens the door for minors, but only if the penalty is actually convertible to a Spanish penalty. If it's not convertible, the RPC graduation rules simply don't apply. So here's the framework. Under Article 10, the RPC applies suppletorily to special laws when they are silent on a matter. But for dangerous drugs, Section 98 of Republic Act 9165 creates a blanket prohibition. The RPC does not apply unless the offender is a minor, and even for minors, the penalty must be convertible to a Spanish penalty for the graduation rules to work. Master this framework and you'll handle any penalty question involving special laws. That's Part 6 of our Fundamental Principle series. Sa Part 7, we're doing a deep dive into the generality principle, foreigners, military offenders, diplomatic immunity, and even presidential immunity. Subscribe, share, and like YouTube for law's sake, and let's continue.